You ever feel like you have to be careful around someone, not because you want to, but because you have to? You think about what you say, how you say it, how it might be taken. Not because you're unsure of yourself, but because, they have the ability to make things harder for you. And that changes how you show up. You hold back. You second guess. You stay quiet when you normally wouldn't. And over time, it starts to feel like you're not fully yourself anymore. If you felt this before, you're not weak. You're responding to pressure. Because when someone has authority over you, your mind naturally starts trying to protect you. It scans for risk. It watches for tone. It tries to avoid conflict. Not because you're afraid, but because you understand consequences. But here's where most people begin to lose something important. They don't just adjust their behavior, they start adjusting their identity. They shrink. They soften their voice. They over-explain. They try to avoid being misunderstood at all costs. And slowly, they give away something they didn't realize they were holding. Their presence. Because power doesn't just come from position. It comes from how steady you remain when someone else has control. People who develop quiet strength understand something different. They don't try to overpower the situation. They don't try to prove anything. And they don't let pressure dictate who they are. They stay the same. Not louder, not more aggressive. Just unchanged. Because the moment you start reacting to someone's position, you give that position more control than it actually has. And most of the time, the situation isn't asking you to become someone else. It's just testing whether you will. So instead of asking, how do I deal with them? A better question is, can I remain myself in this environment? Because that's where your control actually is. Not in what they do, not in how they behave, but in whether you stay grounded in how you carry yourself. So the next time you're around someone who has power over you, notice what your mind starts doing. Notice the urge to adjust, to explain more, to shrink just slightly. And try something small. Don't force confidence. Don't try to impress. Just return to a steady version of yourself. Speak normally. Pause when you need to. Say less instead of more. Not to prove anything, but to stay aligned with who you already are. Because strength in these moments doesn't come from pushing back. It comes from not being pulled out of yourself. And something subtle begins to change when you do that. You stop feeling controlled by the situation, even if nothing around you changes. Because control was never really about them. It was about whether you stayed grounded under pressure. And when you do, you carry something most people don't. Quiet authority. If this message resonated with you, subscribe. And if you've been in a situation like this recently, just know you're not the only one learning how to stay steady inside it. And thank you for being here.